Hi everyone, welcome to the self-love call. My name is Rachel Waite and I have got my two little dogs in the background bouncing around like I don't know what. So if you hear any weird noises, that's what's going on. I just want to say a huge welcome and thank you for coming on. This means a lot to me because I created this call as part of the Think section of our plan, which is Train, Eat, Think, and it's created by Healthy and Empowered. So you've probably seen me or heard of me before talking about Healthy and Empowered. It is a huge community of people who are really, really invested in empowering other people to achieve their dreams. And I really started this because I was suffering from anxiety and depression. And I knew that the team themselves were really looking for ways to like add value into other people's lives for free. And for free is something you don't really hear a lot of nowadays. So we got together and we started creating different calls, and I thought, what a lovely opportunity to just get people together in a safe environment, in a comfortable place where they can just be friends and they can sort of share each other's stories. We can look at different health aspects. It doesn't just have to be to do with your mental health. Our health is so important to us because this is the only body that we have to live in. So it's this, my body is not the thinnest, it is not the fattest, it is not the healthiest, it is not the most unhealthiest. This is just me. And this is everything that Healthy and Empowered stands for. It's literally just accepting and loving yourself for who you are. And that can be really, really difficult at some times. I've been through some really difficult times in the past where I've had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-hate, I guess. But now I try and do personal development every single day. So I'm not a trained professional. I always say to people, I am not a counselor. I can't really give you sound advice in that sense, but I am here to listen to you. So if you find me on Facebook, it's Rachel Waite. And if you find me on Instagram, that's Rachel_100, Rachel Waite _100. And feel free to just send me a star. And that's literally just for me to know that maybe you don't want to talk about it. Maybe you just want somebody to know that you're needing something, a little bit of support. Like that's how I felt when I was feeling my most lost. It was like I wanted people to be there for me, but I also wanted to be alone, which is just mad. So this week I am going to be talking about you, like you. Who are you? Like, who am I? That is what like has literally just came into my head as a topic this week, because I have massively been exploring who I am this week without even realizing it. I think that there's a lot of things about yourself that you don't even know about yourself yet. Like, we think we know ourselves, but do we really? So I've been pushing myself to do things that would usually push me out of my comfort zone. Because if we don't push ourselves out of our comfort zone, then we stay in what we are in right now forever. Like, nothing changes in your comfort zone. I'm not saying go out and do some really daring, drastic, scary things. Like, don't put your life in danger. Don't. But I like hate horrors. Like I'm like, no, I can't cope with horrors. Like I can't do them. So I was like, right, I'm gonna try and watch a horror. And I've been like watching really tame sort of thrillers, and I can do it now. Like, I'm not saying I'm a huge fan, but where I once would never have ever dared like watching them, I've watched about 2, 3 this week. And it turns out I'm interested in a whole new genre of books from learning that. So, so I just want you to sort of draw a picture of you and who you think you are, and then ask yourself, what is the best thing that you value about yourself, but also the one thing that really you feel like you want to change? And also, what is the nicest compliment you've ever had off somebody? Like, just think about that for a moment. So this is an opportunity for you to just take 5 minutes, breathe, relax, enjoy the self-love call. Like, I have got my cup of tea here. The Christmas mug, yes, but I love way too much. And I'm just going to show you this. This is, can you see it? This is the introduction to our guide, Trainee Think, where my team have actually worked with professionals, people like James Knight, who's a personal trainer to Natasha Minter. She's a model and she's also my best friend and upline. And we've talked to medical professionals and all kinds of people, and we've created this book. So there's some content on that on Instagram, so you can check that out on my page. Let's just see. I made notes. So, guilty pleasures. What do you feel guilty about for this week, this month, this year? What do you feel guilty about? Why do we feel guilt? Like, I'm saying this because I was talking to somebody the other day. They'd made a purchase of something that they really liked, but then they felt guilty afterwards. And I went like off on one with them. Guilt, as long as it's not hurting anyone else or somebody like yourself, if it's not hurting yourself and your future self, meaning like finances, things like that, if you know you've got enough and you can make that purchase and it's not hurting anyone, then why feel guilt? Like, if you don't have the intention of returning that product, or if you don't have the intention of undoing something, then why feel guilt? It's just a pointless emotion. Like, it's a negative emotion that will ultimately only bring you down. Get it? Will Smith actually says that we feel the most amount of fear right up until the point where we should be feeling like ultimate fear, like where there is no return. And that is taken from an experience where he goes skydiving. So I really recommend checking out that video on YouTube. It is hilarious as much as it is philosophical. And it's true, like, you might worry and worry and worry and worry about something like an exam, or like me talking on here, I might get really nervous right up until the point where you do it. That's when you should be feeling the maximum amount of that emotion. But then suddenly you feel like fine, like, you know, you're just doing that exam, or you're doing the test. What will be, will be. You can't change the past. You can learn from it, but you can take action in the present through looking at your thoughts, subconscious thoughts, the things you're filling your mind with, like what you're reading, what you're listening to. I really enjoy Smooth Radio now. Like, that if you'd have said that to me like 2 years ago, I would have been like, what? Shut up. You know, I was like a huge party girl, and now I am really big on like keeping my mindset at a point where I am not harming myself, and I'm able to look towards a future that I never thought I could ever achieve. And all of that has been done through personal development, self-love, self-care, and Healthy and Empowered, our Trainee Think guide. So why do we worry? Why do we waste our time and energy, like, whilst we are the most safest, like whilst we are asleep? Like, before we go to sleep, we might be worrying. Like, when you're in the safety of your own house or with friends, why are you feeling negative emotions like guilt and worry and fear? And why are we feeling that when there's no point, you know? So there's something that somebody once told me, and it doesn't matter whether or not you're a religious believer or if you are like not, that's fine. Like, we respect everybody, but my phone's ringing. But the universe, shall we say, or the thing that you believe in. Hang on, Sarah, can you get this phone? Sarah.
Yeah.
The thing that you believe in the most
Hello?
will only wish like positivity for you. Sarah, put that on mute. Life happens. So the universe will wish like positivity into your life, and you can guarantee you're on the right track if you come across like a stumbling block, like a roadblock, like something negative that really almost stops you, because that is like the enemy or the negativity that's trying to throw you off course. And in that, you then know, and you can take away that you were on the right track, you know, because you can get over that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Getting over something, I hate that term, because you don't ever, if something really bad's happened to you, you don't ever really get over it. You just learn ways of like living. And like, I'm saying living as opposed to moving on, because you can move on from anything, right? You can move on from a positive or a negative. Like, what's moving on? We don't move on. We literally, we look at our life. We choose self-love. And you choose the steps that you need to take in order to make the positive changes in your life, so that the present becomes bearable enough that your future can then be anything that you make it. And one of the best ways of doing that is by surrounding yourself with people who are there to build you up and never drag you down. Like, you need to look at the people in your life, because proximity is power, and you are a reflection of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So for me now, I spend the most time with my mom, my dad, my sister, and then Becca Harrison and Natasha Minter. So my mom is like huge, loyal, loving, devotional, passionate woman. So I learn off her every single day, and my bond with my mom is just like, she is my best friend. Like, she's the woman I want to be around most. My sister is my 100% inspiration every day. She's got special needs and poor coordination and weak muscle tone. And this week she decided that she was going to learn to ride the bike. She is 21, and like, we went out, we chose bikes for her, she was pedaling. Like, I have never been so proud in my entire life. And the reason she decided that she wanted to do that is because she saw a boy who had the same syndrome as her riding a bike for the first time, and she was like, wow, if he can, then I can. And I was like, yeah. It's like, that's determination. Like, that is what it's all about. So that is, you know, it's true to say that Healthy and Empowered has actually helped my family as well as me. So like, the health products, you've probably heard me talk about these before. Everything, it's literally just whole food nutrition. There's nothing else in this. And it's part of our Eat section alongside all of the recipes that I created for my show on Fridays, Rachel's Recipes. Ta-da! And this is the first year that Sarah, my little sister, has not ended up in hospital. Like, if that doesn't show you a huge change in her health, then I don't know what does. My dad is like the mirror image of myself, and I learn a lot from him in that he's like a doer. Like, he fixes everything. He's always got to be moving. Like, that man has so much energy, it's unreal. And they are the 3 people I spend the most time with, because I live with them. I'm hoping to be able to move out sometime next year, but I will always be connected to these 3 people. Then Rebecca Harrison and Tasha Minter are like, they are like gurus to me. Like, they are so, like, they're just so in tune with other people and themselves. And if there's anything that, like, I'm struggling with, like, they know the answer. Like, they just know to message you. These are the people that will, when you tell them you're having a rough day, they will send you a motivational video, you know? Like, these are the people that are like, okay, cool, like, let's have a cup of tea, not let's go out and get messed up, like, drunk. No. That doesn't, yeah, that's fun, but only if you're in the right frame of mind. These are the people who will, like, encourage you to do personal development, like writing in a journal. You know, they're the people who build you up, remind you of your qualities. And yeah, so one of the best ways of moving forwards is to surround yourself with like-minded, positive people that are wiser than you and you can learn from, and people that you aspire to be like, so that you can then become somebody that other people might turn to, you know, so that you can help more people. So look at what books you're reading, look at what films you're watching, like, what are you filling your mind with subconsciously, what gossip are you hearing, what negativity are you hearing from the news, the papers, other people in your life. It can be very draining. Like, yes, we want to support people, but also remember that everyone has an overwhelming limit, and I want you to just take a moment now to think of, like, what is your overwhelm limit. So this week, I just wanted to also talk about, like, a fear bin. Have you ever heard of a fear bin? A fear bin is literally where you sit down and you look at, like, the things that you want to achieve in life, or this week or today, this hour, whatever. Like it's like a to-do list. Like really, if you bring it down, it's a to-do list. And then what the hell is stopping you? Like what is stopping you from doing that? And that is usually fears, and fears come out in excuses. So it can sound really harsh when you're just like, oh, stop the excuses. But really, by that, what I mean is this entire layer of excuses are the things that you use to prevent yourself from achieving due to limiting beliefs. So I make up excuses all the time of why I can't do this or that. And it's usually because I thought I had a fear of success. It turns out I actually have a fear of trying my hardest and failing. Like, I acknowledge that, and I'm going to write that down, and I'm going to remind myself that, because I am not going to succumb to that. Like, I am not that person. I'm really determined. So what I did is I created a list. I want you to do the same. Create a huge list of, this sounds really bad, like, I felt my brain was just so overwhelmed. Like, I was exhausted. And I wrote this huge list of all of the negative things that I thought about myself, or that I thought other people thought about myself, or like I had this what if thing going on, like what if, and then this would happen, and then that would happen, and I wrote it all down, and I was like, and so I got somebody to read it back to me, and I was like, why is Mary really sorry for myself? And she was like, yeah, just do the opposite. And I was like, what? And she was like, we'll do the opposite. So I wrote a huge list of everything that was, well, it was more like a scribbled diagram thing. And it was like what I like about myself. Like, I really like my eyes. I like the fit, my face, my face. I like my face. And I like my hair. I like that I can be funny, and it feels really cringy just saying them out loud, because we are socialized, is probably the right word, to not say nice things about ourselves, because that would make us seem selfish or vain. But selfish and vain are really like vulgar words to me when talking about self-love, because why should it be wrong for anybody to say, this is what I really love about myself? Because once you know what you really love about yourself, then you'll know your level of self-respect that you want to gain from others, and you'll know your worth. So I've been reading this, excuse the language, but this is a brilliant book. So it's by Sarah Knight, and she is just such a straight talking woman. Like, it is like, it feels like you're sitting there and you're just on a couch, like listening to your best friend, like lecturing you, you know, on your thoughts, and like it's really good. It's got all these like little things. What is that? Like, this is literally basically saying that, why do we put up with so many people in our lives, or things in our lives that we don't really want to do or be around, who don't deserve that amount of time from us? Like, that sounds really selfish in itself. There's people that you've got, like, you might not want to attend something, but in order to keep that friendship or that love, because you respect them, because they respect you, and you know, you care for each other, then you've got to put up with it. But if you really hate something and you feel like you have to keep up social pretenses, why are you wasting your time and energy and giving away your mindset, because you're taking in all of this stress and displeasure when you don't have to? You like literally have a choice, and it's so difficult to get out of that pattern of not doing things or saying no. So I was reading this, The Goddess Revolution by Mel Wells. And I think this is a really great one for people like me who've had quite a negative relationship with food in the past, because it really reminds you to look at your body as, well, even your body should be she or he, you know, like personify it, reconnect yourself, like your mindset with your body. Like, I was looking at my hands the other day and I was like, you don't realize how much you love this part of yourself until you think, what if it was taken away? You know, this is part of me, you know? And of course, pause. So this is filled with like meditation, relaxation, exercises and activities. And it's by someone called Danielle Merchant. So before I say goodbye, I just want to ask you 3 questions. And I'll let you ponder them. Just checking my notes. Oh, this was my guilty pleasure this week. Why? Why should we feel guilty over pleasure? it's Christmas stuff, and they smell gorgeous, and they were only £1. Very spicy. Oh, they're so pretty. Primark. Smell lovely. So I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna read this book. I'm gonna light the candle. I'm gonna read, and that is my self-love. Oh, I can feel myself relaxing already. So here's the questions. If there was a book published of all of the comments that you've ever left on social media, how would it look? How would it feel? Like, are you the person on social media that you feel like your true authentic self is? Like, never be afraid to be your true authentic self. I used to have this huge barrier up, this huge wall up, because I felt like being the real me would get me hurt because it leaves me vulnerable. Actually, it empowers me. What are you most afraid of? What are you most proud of? And write down one thing that you need to let go of. So all of these tasks that I've been setting out here, these are all things that you should be doing, writing down. Like, I got a pink pen. Because when you write something down, especially if it's a task, like an action or a goal, you are, I can't remember what the percentage was, you are like something huge percentage more likely to succeed than you would be if you were to just like think about it. And also, if it's wrote down, you can see it and it enters your mind in a totally different way. So I really recommend like writing things down. So that has been done in 20 minutes. I am amazed. I just want to say a huge thank you for coming on and listening to this call. If you want to know anything else about Healthy and Empowered or any of our health plans like Eat, Train, Think, then just get in touch. Like, we're harmless people. Like, look, harmless. Oh, I don't know why I'm flicking my hair at you now, but harmless. And also, we really just enjoy connecting with people and like hearing people's stories and really just being real with one another. So find me on Facebook, Rachel Way, or Instagram, which is Rachel Way _100, or like Healthy and Empowered on Instagram as well, or on Facebook. And yeah, I just wish that you have a really, really great week. And I hope that, like, in some way, this has helped you or given you some food for thought, so to speak, and that this time next week your life has improved just a little bit more, simply because you have decided to take action on self-love daily. Okay. Good evening. Goodbye.